Today we're going to put some leather dressing on a book that needs it. See, this is very dry, but it's not quite powdery enough for the Celugel. But it just isn't nice enough to put leather dressing that has wax in it. So we're going to put leather dressing that has Neatsfoot oil and Lanolin, and it's in a 60-40 blend, which is 60% Neatsfoot oil and 40% Lanolin. It's one of the recommended recipes. There are quite a few out there, different recipes, different purposes. But since most people aren't careful and not experienced doing this, we're going to first protect the text block from the grease. So I have a piece of paper here which has been cut to size. Normally you wouldn't use something so curly. What we're going to do is open the back to slide that in right into the gutter, close it, and then I'm going to pull this up. Yes, this book has other issues. That. See how that works in there? Take that. Now this is a useful technique for all kinds of problems. If you're going to work on a book that needs to be protected, especially if it's not a book that is not your own. Normally the sticker is not this thick. You just use regular 20 or 25 pound paper and it'll fold a little bit better. You might even be able to use Christmas wrapping paper. But since we're using grease, I'm going to use this nice thick brown paper, and there we have it. The book is more or less protected unless I get really crazy. So let's try with a clean rag. I confess, I buy my rags in the hardware department because I don't ever have enough clean rags around the house. And there's really something lingering on my rags. So we're going to start with one corner and our dressing. Now we're just going to use little bits of it so we don't drown the book. And we're going to start it in little circles. Now, this is how I was shown. Perhaps other people know different methods. But as you can see, what's going to happen is the leather is going to drink that in. Sometimes it'll take a little while, especially if you're working with a formulation that is thicker rather than thin. And just keep going on. You don't have to absolutely get every corner of the book. If you want to get the turns and you're not very careful, use a Q-tip swab. You can even get the turns inside the spine if you really want to. Most of those things are not as bad off as the cover and the edges. So it's going to darken the leather. You know that right off the bat. But since you're working with something that's screwed up to begin with, it's not like you can make it any worse. Now you can see it's still greasy. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's still greasy. So we're going to leave that alone. And we're going to come back later and either do it again or just wipe off the excess. We'll pretend this is later. So now we're going to come back and do it in reverse. And what will have happened, it will have absorbed as much as it needs. You can do it again if it's really bad. Some of the larger books may get bad, especially if it's not a particularly nice book like a textbook or something that's been just sitting. In the bad old days, most all books were leather. The oils in your hand were meant to keep rehydrating the leather, so it became discolored, but it actually kept it supple. So you can see we've gotten as much grease off as we can. I'll do the spine, and you can see there's a discoloration, but that's good because this is actually better shape. So I'm going to do the spine now. And see, I got a fingerprint there, but it didn't go anywhere because it's protected. And we're going to just do that like that. Luckily this one does not have a lot of busyness going on the spine. And we're going to go to the other side, which is, you can see, it doesn't have anything on it whatsoever. this one, same way. Go. And see, we've got some more mesh schmutz here, so that is protected. There you go. Now we're later. Come back and do this. Now this also works with the leather dressings that have wax on it. See, now if you've protected, gotten the moisture back into the leather, you can actually go over that with another dressing that has a wax in it to seal it up nice, make it shiny. There you go, and it gives it a nice luster. As long as you've gone over and gotten all of the parts that haven't been absorbed off, because it's not going to get absorbed into where the gilding is, then you really don't have too much worry about getting fingerprints from here. Now I would leave that on for a while, say, to the next day. Can't hurt. And there you have it.